I'm here in the studio right now with Jamie Gooker from Tom's River, and she came to talk to me about her son, Ben.
Yes, Ben.
So he's 7. He actually turns 8 2 days after the Radiothon.
Yes, he does. He'll be 8 years old.
We asked you to come on by so you could share your experience with Ocean of Love, with Ben. He's 7 years old. He was diagnosed when he was 4, you told me off air.
Yep, right. A couple months before he turned 4.
Do you remember going back 3, almost 4 years ago at this point, how Ocean of Love came into your life? Obviously, when you heard the news, Ben's sick, he's got cancer, what that must have been like.
Right.
But then where Ocean of Love stepped in, were they like a knight in shining armor? Did you reach out to them? How did that process work?
The social worker at our hospital actually mentioned them to us. And I had actually had experience with them through my job. We donated some things to them. So I already kind of knew their mission and what they were about. And they stepped in as soon as we were in the hospital. They contacted me and put me in touch with our caseworker. And they've been there ever since.
Do you remember what it was like when they arrived?
Not necessarily the first time, but for Thanksgiving, they came by with the fire trucks and everything. And it was just so overwhelming how, I don't even know, how big it was and how supportive they were. They brought everything for Thanksgiving when we didn't know if we could, handle taking care of that year.
But over the years, though, while he was going through treatment, what was some of the things that stand out with Ocean of Love? They've
always been a place where he could go, no matter what his immune system looked like. And we didn't have to worry that he would get sick being there. They have the strict policy that if you're sick, you're not allowed in their office at all. So it was always somewhere that he could go and feel loved. And because as soon as he walks in the door, they all say, "Hi, Ben, how are you?" And they're very welcoming and open and willing to hang out and play with him.
What kind of kid is Ben?
He's very active, crazy, loves Legos, and he's pretty much everything boy.
Everything boy,
Everything boy. Legos, superheroes.
How was he with Ocean of Love? What did they mean to him?
He told me his favorite thing about them is the parties he gets to go to and that he gets to go and see other kids that are like him. Not necessarily normal kids, but there are other kids that are going through the same things. So they understand, how he feels.
If you didn't have Ocean of Love during this whole process, what do you think your life would be like with your family?
It would have been a lot more difficult trying to figure out how to pay to get ourselves to the hospital. They're over an hour away from our home. So it was always a long trip there and back. And sometimes you had to go 3-4 times a week.
Did you have some extended stays? You had to stay over? Well, yeah. Did Ben have to stay there for a period of time?
He had to stay, most of the time it was like about a week or so. And in the first year, we were there for Thanksgiving and Christmas.
What was that like for him? Like, obviously, it's Christmas time and Santa Claus and all that. Like, what was that like for him?
He was very worried, of course, being only 4, that Santa wasn't going to find him. But we made sure that we talked to the hospital. They gave us a little snowflake that we put on his IV pole, and it was to tell Santa where he was. So he knew. And then we set up a little Christmas tree in our hospital room that we brought with us.
Now that he's been obviously off treatment now since November, which is awesome. That's fantastic. We hope that just continues, of course. Has Ocean of Love still been part of your life for the last almost year now?
Absolutely. Every couple weeks I get a message from our caseworker asking how we are, how's everything going, stop by and pick this up, or stop by to say hi. And that's one of the things he loves the most, just going and speaking with them and seeing them.
And besides the financial support that they've given you, and they're helping out so many families, so that it costs a lot to keep Ocean of Love doing what they're doing. That's why we're helping out and we're raising this money for them. But what's the emotional? Obviously, this had to take a toll on you and Ben's father and your family in general.
Everyone, yeah.
How have they been there for you in that sense?
For me, I can go and just sit in the office and talk to the girls for a little while, and you never feel like they're rushing you out or they don't have time to sit and talk with you. And sometimes when your kid's in treatment, you feel very isolated. You don't really get to see or spend time with your friends anymore, and you keep yourself at home to make sure that your kid's not exposed to everything. So it was a nice place to go and have people that actually understand what you're going through as well.
People who are listening to this right now, and obviously we've been doing this is our 20th year doing this Radiothon, so most of the community knows about Ocean of Love, what they're all about, but there's still plenty of people who don't. So if somebody's just listening to The Hawk right now and they're expecting to hear The Doors or Aerosmith and they're hearing this, we're not playing music. What's the message we tell them and why we're doing this and why this is so important?
It's important because our kids need some kind of hope and normalcy, and Ocean of Love helps us provide that for them.